My name is Brandon Reti, and I'm the VP of Product for a company called Breather. We're based out of Montreal, Canada. Who was it? Was that Dan? Okay, there you go. So, like Doreen was saying, I'm going to be talking about bridging the digital and physical. I've broken the presentation into two sections. The first is really just telling you about Breather, giving you the idea about how it works and all that stuff. And then the second is actually giving you tactical, essentially just showing you how we did some stuff, not just giving you this grandiose, like, oh, we do this, we do that, without actually pointing to something specific and how we iterated over a specific system to bridge one of the most important parts of our product. So let's go through this. So, like I said, Breather, we're about 120 employees right now. We've raised $27.5 million in VC funding. We did a 1.5 seed round by Real Ventures, a $6 million A round by RRE. They did Vine, BuzzFeed, and Bitly. And then we did a $20 million Series B by Valar Ventures, which is Peter Thiel's fund. And I'm sure you all know who Peter Thiel is. So what do we do with Breather? We build meeting space as it should be, okay? It's space that's productive, peaceful, professional, completely on demand. So that means you can book it within a half hour of needing it, or you can book it up to 60 days in advance. It can be booked by anyone. It can book by your mobile phone. It can be booked by your on the web, all very easily. We've got over 200 locations in 10 cities. So we started in Montreal, Canada, and then we expanded to New York City. We're in the Bay Area, we're in LA, we're in Washington, Ottawa, Chicago, Boston, Toronto, and London, UK. And so I actually just got to try Breather in Toronto for the first time today, and it's always this really cool experience when you've kind of been behind the keyboard building a digital product, and then you actually get to go out and touch the other half of the product, which is the physical element. So, what is Breather's value? What makes us different from a hotel, from a coffee shop, from a shared office or desk rental or co-working spaces? We check off all of the things that you need to be productive and run an effective meeting. We're on demand. We're private. We offer rooms that aren't noisy. You know, you're not talking to the bro about the 9 emoji startups that he has or something like that. You can actually do head down focused work. It's very cost effective. Some of our locations start at $25 an hour. They go up to about $100, $125 an hour, but we're really allowing anybody to use our product. We've got a consistent user experience. This is something that really separates us from our competition. You can use a Breather in Montreal, you can use a Breather in LA, or you can use a Breather here. The experience will be the exact same. Multifunctional. We do photo shoots. You can use it for meetings. We've had use cases such as mothers needing a place to go breastfeed. It's really, really, really a completely flexible product. And obviously, one of the biggest benefits is it's quiet. So we're used by Dropbox, Etsy, Airbnb, Apple, Uber, NBC, Amazon, HBO, and a bunch of other really cool companies throughout the world. So how does it work? You find a place near you via the app, you make a booking, you show up, you unlock the door with the app, it tells you how to get there, and you just get to work. And like I said, in under 30 seconds, you can actually book a space, unlock the door, and get to work. And each one of our spaces comes with Wi-Fi, chairs, no distractions, really cool reading material, books, and just a really clean and quiet environment to work in. So this is one of our locations in Ottawa in the Byward market, and there's a specific reason I'm showing you this. I'm really proud of this location because Sophie Trudeau, Canada's First Lady, actually did her Chatelaine photo shoot in this Breather. This was right after Prime Minister Trudeau just came into power, and it was just a really, it was almost one of those like, oh wow, we've made it moments where we were in the mainstream media and someone such as her was using it to get some of her work done. So the second part, meetings suck. So I'm sure some of you guys work in startups, you work in big companies. And what we try to do is really make your life easy, one invite at a time. So this is actually based on a blog post and a feature that that we developed a couple of months ago, and I figured it was the perfect thing to demo here, to really show you how hard it is to bridge the physical and digital. So when we first started Breather, we knew that one of the most important things was, well, what happens after a booking? Right? This was a new idea. People didn't really understand the concept 3.5 years ago of, oh, so you're going to make the booking on the phone and then this phone's going to unlock the door. How do I get there? Is there a PIN code? Is there a scanner? So what we did was we built V1, which is really just the MVP. And all it was after you made a booking, we sent a calendar invite. But you didn't have to go outside of the app to send a calendar invite and copy paste a bunch of things and try to explain what Breather is. We took that burden off of the guests, off of the host to explain it to our guests. So this had everything you needed to access the room, all the information, but there was a problem. Guests couldn't unlock the door. Only the person making the booking was able to lock the door. So we thought of V2. This came about a year later, about 8 months later, sorry. What we noticed were a lot of people making bookings weren't actually attending the meetings. They were executive assistants or managers, and only the host was able to open the door. So we came up with this idea of digital key sharing. So we kept all the benefits of explaining what Breather was, except now we had this cool thing where the person who was invited to the Breather could experience that aha moment of unlocking the door. But there's a bit of a problem with this. There's too much friction. If you're an executive working at a company and your EA makes a meeting for you and invites a bunch of people, or you're a manager and you're booking on behalf of your people, you don't want to burden them with having to download the app. It's actually something selfish from a product standpoint where you're like, oh, well, I want people to see how beautiful my app is. It's not about that. It's about building the best experience for your users. Because we always need to remind ourselves that the app is not the product at Breather. We consider it almost like the remote control for the room. The product is the room. We are a conduit into that room to kind of create a harmony between the digital and the physical. So V3, link sharing. We kind of took this idea from Google Docs. Like I was saying, the app had too much friction to download. So we radically simplified what we did, and we came up with something called ungated link sharing. Okay? All you do is after you make a reservation, generates a link. You send this link to anyone who's going to come to your meeting, and it has all the info they need. The page is a URL on the web, and essentially at the time of your reservation, it will show you the code to open the door. It'll show you the intercom code to access the building, and a map is present to tell you how to get there, ties into Google Maps, and it clearly articulates all the next steps. So there's no need to sign up. There's no need to do anything that has too much friction associated with it. And by radically simplifying, we've actually seen the amount of signups on our product from this specific feature go 2x. So in reality, what we realize is, looking back, we tried too hard to make people download our app and have the app experience. By just radically simplifying, we were able to deliver a much better and easier user experience. So that's pretty much it. Thanks, guys. Any questions?
So is there a membership required for to be able to get access to the various offices, or is it basically a plan?
That's a great question. So for those of you who didn't hear, he asked, is there a membership required? Absolutely not. That's one of the really cool benefits about our product. It is zero commitment. If you were to sign up now, in a minute and a half, you would be able to book a room once you uploaded your credit card, and check in later this evening. Right there in the corner.
You guys own space?
We do not own space. We lease space. Yeah. So we haven't bought any of our spaces. You can think of it as real estate arbitrage. Yeah, we do. Where's Ashley and Dan? I want to embarrass them right now. So Ashley and Dan are right there. Ashley is our GM for Toronto. So it's very similar to the Uber model, where each city has a GM. For smaller markets, you'll have like a GM that manages too. But for like New York, San Francisco, LA, there's definitely a GM. There's also biz dev people. So really that having a local team to ensure that you can deliver that amazing experience. Right here in the front.
So I remember Reti from the beginning, and I always thought of it as a B2C app. But when you talk about customers, you talk about companies. So are you actually selling to businesses and selling this as a tool for businesses that have meetings? Like, are you a B2B or are you B2C?
That's a really, really great question. And I've actually never been asked that, but it's something we always talk about internally at our office. And we started off as a B2C company, and we realized that companies actually had a serious need for this. We figured like, oh, if you have a company, well, you already have a conference room. The problem is they're always booked.
It makes sense to me. Like in the beginning, you were just a space to hang out. Now you're a space to have a meeting. Your space to have a meeting, that's B2B in my mind.
It is.
So why would I sell to consumers? I just sell to businesses.
Well, here's the thing. We think of the experience as the people using the room as the consumers, right? It's like, think of it as like an airline, right? The airline caters to two groups of people. Well, think of it like when, what's the best way to think about it? Yeah, an airline is actually a good way to think about it. They're catering to the end user, right? They're catering in terms of comfort, in terms of like a lounge, in terms of like priority boarding access and all that. But at the end of the day, you know, they're also catering to the manager at the company or the CFO by giving them, you know, points and things like that, such that they can get free flights and all that. So they're always thinking cost conscious and all that.
Yeah, there's a difference between buyers and sellers.
Exactly. Yeah. But the B2B market is where we're trending.
Yeah, well, I think that's cool.
Cool. Guy in the back.
Yeah, once a room is booked, what's your turnaround time for when it can be ready for the next guest? And is that a metric you guys are really concerned with right now?
Yeah, we're always concerned about that. Basically, each booking, there's a half-hour window after that booking that is taken off the map, where our operations associates will go and ensure that they're cleaned up. And after every booking, we do this because this allows us to keep consistency throughout the product. Gentleman up here.
Gentlemen,
Yeah. I can call you something worse. Yeah, exactly.
I used to get leases. Are all the spaces 100% used by Reti, or are they shared at all?
So we do have a few partner spaces on our platform where basically people are able to put their space on our platform. We put the lock on, we give them the furniture and all that stuff. But it works well, but it doesn't work as well as the leasing model. The leasing model works extremely well because we are able to guarantee consistency. And from a business standpoint, that's even more important, because if you're gonna have meetings there, you're gonna have a presentation, you wanna make sure that that experience is exactly the same. So I've got time for one more question. That guy in the back.
Yeah. Are you guys, excellent. Do you guys have an API, something where you can do like a mashup where you provision a space alongside with something else? Kind of like Twilio style or like Uber style, I think?
That's a great question. It's been something that we've been contemplating internally for a very long time, and I think within the next 6 or 7 months, we'll probably have something like that.